Experience a new level of luxury on Topsail Island at Saltwater Suites in Surf City, North Carolina. With no nightly minimum, you can enjoy short getaways or an extended stay. Each suite features luxury bedding, full kitchens with dining tables and dishwashers. And all suites other than the 3 ADA suites have full-size washers and dryers. And don't forget about those beautiful ocean views. 24/7 self-check-in provides a hassle-free and seamless experience. Saltwater Suites is the perfect choice for your next beach getaway. Book your next Topsail visit at saltwatertopsail.com or call 910-886-4818. Saltwater Suites, Topsail Island's premier luxury hospitality experience. Welcome to the Topsail Insider Podcast, where you can hear all about the businesses and events in the beautiful coastal towns of the greater Topsail area of North Carolina. Coming up, get ready for a conversation with Jill Clark, the owner of the Coastal Home Store in Hampstead, North Carolina. We'll talk about her coastal cottage at Cedar on the Green, the beautiful coastal home decor, her seasonal style boxes, styling services, and so much more. Stick around. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Topsail Insider Podcast. My name is Krista, and I am your host. Today, I am interviewing Miss Jill Clark. She is the owner of one of my favorite stores in Hampstead, the Coastal Home Store. It is the cutest little cottage in all of Greater Topsail, and I am fortunate enough that I live about 5 minutes, so it makes my shopping for my friends and family super easy. Not to mention, I get a little retail therapy for myself. So welcome, Jill, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your store, what you sell, and why you decided to open it here in Hampstead.
Sure. So we opened 3 years ago, just celebrated our 3-year anniversary, and we sell home goods, home decor, and unique gifts. And it's very specific in what we sell. We, like many people in our area, are not local, meaning we are transplants. We found our way here. And we found our way here because of the coastal community that we live. So we love the community. We love the being near the beach. We love having access to what we have access to. And so the home itself, while it's home goods, home decor, and unique gifts, it's all kind of centered around that coastal community. So the colors you see in the sunsets, those cotton candy skies in the summer, the textures in the store, it's all based on that coastal community where we live, yet it's transitional. So you don't have to have a coastal home by definition. You don't have to be whales and seashells and all those things.
Right.
But you're still inspired by the beauty that is in those sunsets and those sunrises and the textures in the sand and the marsh. I mean, we often overlook the marsh, how beautiful the marshland is around here. So that's kind of what the store is based on and what we sell. I mentioned we opened 3 years ago. It's so exciting to say that. But to your question about why we opened, so we opened September 2020. So if you close your eyes and you think back to where we were at that time, it was a time of shutdown. We weren't allowed to gather. We weren't allowed to be in large groups. You weren't going out with your friends. You weren't celebrating weddings or milestones, birthdays, things of that nature. And so we felt like we needed some of that in Hampstead. And one of the things for me that I noticed when I moved here 4 years ago is we didn't have a store that had the items I just talked about, the home goods, the home decor, and a unique gift. I had to go to Wilmington or I had to go to Jacksonville. So kind of thinking back to that time, it was this wonderful opportunity of we could bring something beautiful to the community that allowed people to gather, but just maybe not in the way that we were gathering in September of 2020. And still celebrate all the things that are life, but do it in a way that was safe. And so that's kind of how the store came. We saw a need within the community for this type of offering and just really felt like the community could use it. And it's, as we'll talk about, I mean, it's just been nothing a business plan could have written. It's the return on all things has been phenomenal.
Wonderful. You're 100% correct. We definitely needed that store here. And I love what you sell in there. It's very coastal chic. It's definitely got the nautical touches, but not kitschy. I love the colors too. And these are the colors I want to use in my house because it feels soothing, like a spa almost. I love crisp whites and blues and greens, like the colors of the ocean, and those soft beiges on their pillows and whatnot. And just everything in there just makes me feel calm. It's very
Thank you.
soothing. I also want to talk about that cottage you're in because the cottage is so cute. And it's on the outside, it's everything coastal cottage. It's got the coastal green color on the outside with the white trim. And I mean, who doesn't love a front porch and rocking chairs? It's just really quaint and pretty. And if you drive down 17, you couldn't have missed it. It's next to the road on Cedar on the Green.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's got all those little cottages lined up. It's really cute. And do you know when that cottage was built?
You know, I don't know. So, but I will tell you, we've had lots of customers share information with us. So I don't know what's real, but I will tell you what I have heard.
Okay.
I have heard that all of those little cottages were relocated to that location and that it was the original shopping center, quote unquote, of Hampstead once upon a time. So that's the once upon a time is not, that's what I don't know. So I know it was relocated. Someone told me once it was the original post office, or maybe not that cottage, but the original post office was there. And I would say, based on the flooring and the size of the doorways in that place, that it's probably 80 plus years old. That's my best guess. But yes.
The floors, are those the original floors?
The original floors, yes.
Yeah, it's got that feel when you walk in and you know it's got some stories in those walls.
Yeah, and that's character, right? So even
much.
as us as homeowners, you know, we go in a home and if we're looking for a home or we're building a home, we always look for character. And so even coming into that place and finding it the way that we did, it was like, okay, she's got some character. I mean, she's going to need some polish, but she's got some character. And
Did you have to do a lot of work to it?
I would say not a lot. I mean, like most things, she had the bones and the porch and all the things that you just talked about. So we did some paint. We repaired some walls. We threw some shiplap up because that's popular in our community. We did some cedar shake because, again, we're talking about coastal and textures and we wanted those colors. But beyond that, we left the ceiling just like it was. I should say we added some outlets because we have lots of lights. So we needed some extra electrical power. But we left the ceilings just like they were with all their kind of decorative accents. The beadboard that was on the wall, we left all that. The floors you spoke about. So we just threw some rugs on top and just kind of let her bring what she brought, to the house.
The smaller, it's like 4 rooms. They're smaller rooms.
That's
and
right.
that's how the homes were back then. But you get to walk into like a different little, a feel-good section in every little room is something different, you know?
Well, thank you for saying that too, because that was our intent with the store. Every room is different for that reason. Like you're walking your own home and you can turn around and go the other direction and, kind of lose your partner that way. But it's fun. You look up, you look down, but every room is intentional. There's one that's set up kind of like a living room or an entry when you walk in. And then we have one that's could be more of a bedroom or for a younger audience, more like a teen room.
The teen room. So when you walk in the front door and then you go towards the left and straight back, there are some, that makes sense to me now because there's a bit of a bohemian touch in there. And I know that the teens are using a lot of the bohemian look and feel for their dorm rooms and such. So
exactly. So we try to make every room different. And then as just you continue your journey around, then you end up in the kitchen, which, again, just we intentionally try to do that. The rooms themselves don't change and the intention, but what we have in them, of course, always rotates because we've got such a small space. We always like it to look different.
Let's talk about the products that you are selling. I know that this is relative. They're affordable. You have really nice quality items, and I can get that same quality at a Pottery Barn, but you're selling them for a lot less than Pottery Barn. So when I say you're affordable, I mean that you are less than other people are selling those same quality items. How are you managing your pricing?
Yeah, such a great question. I appreciate you saying that because that's exactly what we try to do and what we call shop the look. So, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I would say, how do we do it? It's taken a lot of practice, 3 years in the making, but we have had to find that sweet spot on learning your vendors. Which vendors are going to give you the quality that you're speaking of? That takes time. You have to order and you have to receive and you have to get feedback from your customers. We market test all the time. We're our own customers, the team and I. So that takes time to figure out the quality component. But then over time, I think the thing that we have learned, and you guys, you and all the listeners can relate to this, as consumers in the last 3 years, we have had to absorb a lot of the increased cost, specifically related to shipping and freight. And so what we have had to do is think about our partner vendors globally and domestically and say, okay, where do we know the quality is? Like sort through the vendors and say, here are our quality vendors, that trial and error, if you will. And then the sweet spot becomes, and which one of those vendors are domestic, number one, and on the East Coast. Because if we can source from a close location, it's going to be less cost to get to us than if we were sourcing from California, as an example. So we might love our vendors in California, but because the cost of shipping and freight was so high, we might turn away from them and then reprioritize. So that's the sweet spot that I speak of. We're still learning, but we are getting so much better about finding those goods. And your comment about the quality pieces, again, appreciate you saying that. We do try to shop the look. So we get all the catalogs like you do in the mail. They stack up and we look through them and we see the ones that we pick out the pieces that we think are transitional. So they've got those coastal textures and those colors that resonate with our customers in the store. And then we try to find something that looks just like it, but at a more affordable price. And so that's where that shop the look concept comes. And if you follow us on socials, you'll see we do that quite a bit. We'll do a shop the look, we'll show it to you, and then you can usually kind of attach it to where it came from.
Tell me about your employees and how many people work there and how you find them. Are they designers?
I think I've just been lucky. They have found the store is what I would say.
Okay.
We haven't had any sort of like formal recruitment that's ever happened. They're from all different backgrounds. I mentioned the transplant word earlier. We kind of all found our way to Topsail. And so we're from all over the country, which is really nice. Some military families, which again, for our community is so important. That's why we offer our military discount. And we're all ages too, which is really fun. I would say the team is the heartbeat of the home, really. Without them, the Coastal Home wouldn't be what Coastal Home is. And we have this motto. I'm going to talk about it if you don't mind for just a minute.
I would love for you to talk about this motto.
Because it makes me think of it when I talk about the team. So the store motto is grace, love, and gratitude. And so you'll see that a lot too if you follow us on social media. We'll do hashtags. But what it means is, first, you have to have grace. And when you think about grace, most people think it's polite, you're pleasant, you have a certain image in your mind, but there's also like a divinity behind it of forgiveness. The next word is love, meaning you love everybody that comes through the door, right? There's a no judgment zone that kind of comes with the store.
I love that.
With the grace and the love, you have to be able to give grace to people and you have to be able to give grace to yourself. The same with love. You have to be able to love yourself before you can love others. And so just speaking of those two words first, it's very important that no matter what kind of day you're having as a team member or what kind of day that you don't know what kind of day that people are coming through the door having, but if you face it with grace and love, it's going to make the day much easier. And then the last word is gratitude. And that's just in everything we do. We do gratitude gifts. It's not Save for November, which I know is a gratitude month, but it's just really rooted in everything that we do. And being grateful is a choice. You have to have that attitude of gratitude. And if you do, then you'll find joy. But you got to start with being grateful for something, and then the joy comes. And so that motto of grace, love, and gratitude, to me, the team embodies it wholeheartedly, which is why I said they're the heartbeat of the home. And I think that those last 3 years, I mean, and that little cottage with all that character, again, you just think about your own life. We've been through so much. So in those walls of that store, we have laughed, we have cried, we have held hands in prayer. You know, when hard diagnoses came or we've lost loved ones, we have celebrated marriages and new babies and just all kinds of milestones. So I'm just, I'm so blessed to have the team. I could go on and on.
That's wonderful.
I'll stop there.
Grace, love, and gratitude. I love it. And speaking of mottos, you also have a personal motto. Let's talk about that.
I do. Obviously, mottos are pretty important to me, but I think they are tenets to every day. And so for myself, one that I've lived with always is believe, love, and inspire. Believe is important to me because I believe that's where the impossible becomes possible. So with anything that you do, you have to believe in it first. If you don't believe it's going to happen, it's not going to happen, right? It's that whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing. If you start with believing, that's the first step. Then love comes into play because if you have to love something in order to do it well, so you have to put passion into it by love. But by putting passion into it, you also have to have compassion, right? So you can believe anything, but if you go about it with passion and you're ugly about it or you treat people unfairly, that's not going to end well. So you have to believe and then you have to love, bringing passion and being compassionate. And then maybe somewhere along the way, if you do those two things, you will find inspiration or inspire somebody. And so for me, that's my personal motto. If you come in the store and you see the back office door open, you're going to see it on the wall in metal letters with all of our thank you cards from people that we've sponsored over the years, kind of tucked within the words. But it's just what keeps us driving, believe, love, inspire. Just a way of life for me.
Let's talk about your personal history a little bit. I would love to hear where you're from and just about how you grew up and how you landed here.
Sure. Well, I'm not from Topsail. I said I was a transplant. So I originally grew up.
We all are.
That's right. I originally grew up in South Texas. I'm born and raised in San Antonio. And then I moved out west to California after my undergrad, met my husband, who was from Baltimore. Because he's from Baltimore, we moved back east very quickly after we got married in California. And then we landed in Pennsylvania for 15 years before moving to Topsail, finding Topsail our home. So we landed here because it started for us as a vacation destination. Mm-hmm. 7 years ago, it was the first time we'd ever landed on the North Carolina coast. And we landed in Topsail. Never been to North Carolina before. And we showed up in Topsail. And I'll never forget the moment we were sitting on the beach just thinking, okay, this is where home's going to be. Yeah. And then, of course, those wheels start turning in my head. The planner and me just start saying, how are we going to make this happen? And then fast forward, here we are. So we've lived here for 4 years. But I feel like I've kind of been on this whirlwind tour across the United States.
What do you like to do outside of running the Coastal Home Store?
Oh, gosh, I'm a busybody. So aside from just doing all the things with the store and always redecorating my own home, I do love to volunteer. So all my life, I've been volunteering in some way. And I would say professionally, I volunteered at the regional, state, and national level. I sat on boards, 501c3s, 501c6s. And then when we relocated here to the area 4 years ago, I pivoted in my volunteering and hung up the hat, if you will, on the professional side and tapped into the sea turtle hospital. So that's something I do on the side.
Yeah.
I volunteer 1 day a week, May to August, and walk the beaches as a member of the Topsail Island Sea Turtle Patrol. And that, again, brings so much joy. And it's inspirational itself because I get to look at that sunrise every day and walk the beaches. And
on that island is incredible. It's different every single morning. Any turtle tracks for you?
Not this year. No, we had a couple false crawls, but so no nests, I should say. Yes, we found tracks. That's the false crawl, but no nests this year. Not for me. Lots of nests on the island, just not for me this year. But that's okay. Again, I feel very lucky to be able to be on the patrol.
Are you going to continue with that?
Absolutely. As long as they'll have me. Yes, I love it.
Can you tell me about any memorable customer experiences that you've had that touched you in any kind of way?
There's so many people that come in and out of the store that feel like family. It's like I told you before, the team is just so great. When people walk through the doors and we know that they're a loyal customer, we watch their kids grow. They might have had a baby in the last 3 years, and now the toddler's walking in the store. And so there's a lot of those stories that are just really heartfelt for all of us. So I'd say that's one. Most recently, because on the 3rd year anniversary I'd mentioned, someone came in, we'd gotten new stock, and she found this little coffee cup that just said strong and courageous. Simple coffee cup, simple couple of words. And she was just so tickled to get it because she was telling us a story about how her friend had just beat cancer and she was buying that coffee mug, strong and courageous, for her friend. So it's those little moments. They're all peppered throughout our 3 years, but that just validates everything that we do. We pick up a coffee cup and you think it might serve one purpose and it ends up serving a completely different one. And it's special.
Let's talk about your seasonal style boxes. I think this is such a great concept for your store. And can you just tell the listeners about your style boxes?
Sure, I'd love to. This was actually a new offering that we introduced in 2023. As I had mentioned to you, many folks are local, but many folks are not. And so we had a customer come in. She's from the West Coast. She lives here half the year. Bi-coastal, I think she calls herself, which is such a cool word. I want to live bi-coastal. But she was talking to us about how she loves our products, but she misses a lot. She follows us on social, but we don't post everything. And so she said, gosh, it would just be great to get a little drop every once in a while. And so that's where the kind of the light bulb moment was. And we all know about subscription boxes. Sure. This isn't a new concept. We just thought, well, that would be a fun thing to do for our customers. It's just with home goods. And we knew we couldn't do it every month. It would be too much of an endeavor. But we thought, what if we did it for the season? So once a quarter. And so you have one for fall, you have one for winter, you have one for spring, and you have one for summer. So it's 4 times a year. It includes a variety of different products for your home. It's usually about $100 worth of retail in the box. And then you get a discount, obviously, for subscribing. You've got 3 different ways you can purchase. You can purchase 1 month, 2 months, or 4 months, which would be a full year of seasons. And if you do purchase online, you can give us little notes. We've had people order them as birthday gifts. And so then we'll just tuck a little note in there that says happy birthday, Jill.
Nice.
And so we can have a little hand personal note in there. So you can use them for all type. You can use them for yourself, gift yourself, as this bi-coastal customer did. She ordered them for herself, or you can give them as a birthday gift. And
I do want them for myself.
Yeah. All kinds of fun stuff. And I will say every box has, like I said, it has a little collection of products that are curated, especially for that season. We always will drop the seasonal box towards the end of the second month of the quarter. So for example, in the fall box, we dropped it at the end of August. So the intention there is, or it's intentional the way we deliver it, because we want it to inspire you to get ready for fall. So the same will happen in winter. We'll drop the boxes at the end of November, right when we're wrapping up Thanksgiving, because we're going to inspire you to get ready for the winter ahead. So
tell me some of the items that we would find in the box.
Sure. So every box will always have a candle, and every box will always have a shell. Candles are really important to us. You mentioned the sea salt one. That's a store favorite. You can get it year round. But scents are really important. You think about your home. It's not just the colors that you see, the textures that you feel, but it's the scents, right, of your home are really important. So that's why every box will always have a scent, and it always has a shell, because that's just our special touch to it. But to your question, what you can find is, I'll give you some examples. In our summer box this year, that was our first release, we had one of our store favorites, which is a sand cloud towel. These beach towels, where they're supposed to be beach towels, but they repel sand really well. But they're not just beach towels. They can be a sarong that you can wrap around yourself after the beach. They can be a blanket if you're cold. Sometimes we get a little chill on the beach, so you can use it as a blanket. Or if you're hiking, it's really great, because then you can throw it on top of a picnic table as a tablecloth too, or just to make a picnic. So it's got lots of uses, but we had a sand cloud towel in there. We had a candle, an outdoor candle. Citronella, help repel those mosquitoes that we get here on the pesky coast of Carolina. We had a coastal bar of soap and a little bamboo dish to match, so on and so forth. So that was a summer box. And then in fall, our candle for fall was pecan pie. So it's a little,
I bet that smelled so
it's
good.
It's a sweeter scent. You have to like a sweet scent. Again, in honor of where we live, it was a pecan pie candle. We had a little wool felt pumpkin, a little garland with a embellishment on the end that's specific to fall. So some got a squirrel, some got an acorn, some got a pumpkin.
Cute.
So just pieces like that. They're all decor items that you can put together. The fall box even had a beautiful embossed vase with some magnolia leaves, but the magnolia leaves weren't green. They were of that fall transitional color. So again, you'll get the box, you'll get all the items in it, you get the fun little shell, and then you also get a card in the box that tells you how to style. So just in the way I articulated to you, a sand cloud towel is not just a sand cloud towel. It's kind of, so you can think of it and go, I didn't think about using it that way. So we give you some ideas for how you can style it in your home too.
Very helpful. Let's talk about the gift cards. I know I saw them in your store, so we can get the gift cards there.
Yes, you can get them physical in store. You can get them online.
Online as well?
And you can use them online as well, correct.
Okay.
So again, I as I mentioned, there's folks all over the country. So if a friend in California knows that you love Coastal Home, they can buy a gift card online, email it to you, and you can bring it in the store and use it. Or you can just go online and use it yourself.
It's instant. So you can email the card, and then they can turn right around that moment and go shopping.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And it's so fun. It's like you see it with any other retail site, I'm sure, where you can personalize the gift card too. So you can do a wedding, you can do a friendship, you can do good luck. You've got little options so that when you send it electronically, it'll kind of come up with that message. So the e-cards are fun. And then, like I said, we always have the physical cards too. So if you just, have something to celebrate in a way, gift card's a great idea. Especially if you just don't know what the other person would like, or you just want them to have fun shopping in store. We can help them. We can help them. That's for sure.
Okay. And let's talk about your styling services.
Yeah. So again, this was another item that came forward. We didn't really start promoting it until this year, although we had done it in year 2. That was kind of an expansion we did in year 2. But this can be anything our customers want it to be. So even if you go to the website and you look at the styling service, you're not going to see pricing online, because it is special to whatever the customer needs. It just requires an email, and then I get to work with you and find out what you need. But some examples are, we had somebody that had relocated from the Northeast, which I could relate to. And she had a lot of darker furniture, but in a coastal home. And so it was just, she was stuck and got my old furniture and my new home, and I don't know how to meld the two. And so we were able to just kind of help her take away all the things and then put it back together in a way that you can merge the old and the new. It doesn't all have to be new, and it doesn't all have to be whale tails and seashells. It can be whatever style you want, but we just got to make it work together, make it flow. So that was one example. I had another person reach out who had just been through a separation, and she got the house. But she wanted it to look different. And, she's in the same house, the same stuff. And so she decided she was going to repaint the entire first floor, which was great. Like, you take that on, you put the colors, but then before everything went back up on the walls, she called us in and said, I just need help. So in that case, there wasn't any purchasing necessarily. It was just a service. We went in there and just rearranged things, laid it all out to make sure it was good with where we wanted it. And she put it on the walls, went to the hardware store, bought a few new plants to spruce up the place. And then it just looked different, So same house, same stuff, just in a different new perspective. So a style service can be anything. I'm even thinking about another customer who brought a table to us. And as you mentioned, our store is very small. It's got 4 rooms in it, but it's limited real estate. So while we have access to dining tables and bedroom sets and things of that nature, we don't have space in the store for it. So she came to us with a picture of a dining table and said, from a large brand, I should say. And she said, I want this table, but I don't know where to get it. And so we were able to find it. We were able to source it. We were able to get it delivered to her, and everybody's happy, right?
Nice.
So it never even comes to the store. And again, we can't always do that. It depends on what you find it with us. But that's why I say it's just easier to shoot us an email, let us know what you need. And sometimes we don't find it. I mean, that's okay. We're okay with you saying no, thank you, or we'll tell you we couldn't find it. So that's the beauty of it. It just allows us to collaborate with our customers. For us, it's fun too, because we're shopping for you. It's like being your personal shopper.
Did that just happen sort of organically?
It did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A customer walked in. The first one I remember, I'll never forget it, because I was like, well, we've never done this before, but why not? Like, we'll give it a whirl. If you could be patient with us, we can give this a whirl. And similar thing to the story I just told, she wanted an entire bedroom set and couldn't find it locally. So I said, well, send me all the pictures and let me see if I can source it through my vendors. And I found it on the East Coast, was able to ship it to her. And to me, I remember that one so fondly because her mother fell in love with the bed and had to have one too. So we got to order one twice, which was nice. Yeah, it was fun. We all celebrated.
A great service. I love that service.
Thank you.
Okay. Going to have to get you to come fix my living room. Do you have any future plans, either whether it's personal or with the Coastal Home Store, that you want to share with us?
I think I've shared with you a couple times, I'm a bit of a dreamer. So I would love to be able to expand. We're at year 3. We've expanded our services through the style services that we just spoke about. We upgraded our point of sale system in year 2 to offer the online gift cards, because that wasn't something we had started with. And then most recently, we've done the seasonal boxes, but we're very limited in our real estate in the store. So while I have access to the things, they're not in the store for you to touch and feel and see, which for me as a shopper is really important. So I'd say if I had the dream board in my head, for me, it'd be about expanding, but continuing to serve the people of Hampstead. It's really important to me. Our community is growing leaps and bounds. We all know it, right? We all pay the taxes and we all see the traffic on 17.
Yep.
But there's not a lot of commercial offerings in Hampstead. So to move right now, I don't feel like it's the right fit. For me, it's important for the community that we serve and the customers that we serve that we stay where we're at in this local, the heartbeat, if you will, of Hampstead. So
had you considered like Surf City, or would you go down towards Wilmington? Or
yeah. I'm always got something rolling around in my head, and so I've considered it, but Hampstead's where we started. Hampstead is where we want to be, and so I'm just going to wait for that moment where preparation meets opportunity, and maybe
I have no doubt it's going to come to you.
Maybe. But that's the dream board. I think if we could expand and we could continue to share with the community in that way, I really want to be in Hampstead.
Wonderful. I love that. Thank you. So at the end of each episode, I like to do something just called Final Thoughts. And I just want to ask if there's just one thing that you want the listeners to know about you, Jill, or Coastal Home Store.
So this question's a great question and really makes me think. I don't know if you've ever heard or read that book called The One Thing by Gary Keller.
No.
Have you heard of it?
No.
So it's a New York Times bestseller. You'll see it at the airport next time you travel, and you'll be like, that's what she's talking about. It's an incredible book because it talks about achieving extraordinary results by like cutting out all the clutter in your life and getting rid of all the stress if you do the one thing. And now you're looking at me like, well, what's the one thing, Jill? What is it? What's the secret, right, to that success? So that's the beauty of that book. It didn't tell you the answer. You have to figure that out for yourself, that one thing. And I don't have the key to success to share with you, but I do know the key to failure. And that's trying to please everybody. And so I would say to you, for me and for the store, the one thing is where we started our conversation, and it's the purpose, like for why we're here. So if we can continue to focus with all the noise and all the stress, if we can continue to focus on what pushed us to open, what has caused us to be here for 3 years, bringing all those curated items, those home goods, that home decor, the unique gifts, maintaining it in that coastal, all the textures and everything that makes our store unique. If we can continue to stay focused on that and stay true to ourselves, then I think tomorrow and next week, next year, I hope that we're still in business, maybe doing more to serve the community of Hampstead. But for me, that's the most important. That's my one thing.
Thank you for that. Like, I'm going to go get the book, but I feel like that's what I needed to hear today. So thank you. Let's talk about the contact and location information for our listeners so they know where to find you and how to reach you. Do you want to do that? You want to take that away?
Sure. So we are located in the heart of Hampstead, as I just mentioned, right off Highway 17 in the Cedar on the Green shopping center. So if you're familiar with the area and you do geography like I do, we don't do street signs.
That's right.
You're going to see the Lowe's Foods, and right across the street is Cedar on the Green. We are the Little Green cottage in that little section. So while I could tell you it's 17007, look for the Little Green Cottage and Cedar on the Green. And then we're also on Facebook and Instagram. We have a large social media presence, and so we do post a lot about what's new in the store or events that are going on. We'd love for people to go out there and share their feedback with us as well.
Okay.
Email is coastalhomestore@gmail.com, so all questions can be sent there, or you can give us a call at 910-821-1390, or you can visit our website at coastalhomestore.com. And as you had mentioned, you can get gift cards online. You can source online. We even have purchase online, pickup in store options. So that makes it nice and convenient for busy people. Yes. So you can purchase online, pick up in store. And not only is that great and convenient if you work a full-time job, but it also allows you to snag your favorites. So
wonderful.
That's nice.
All right. Well, thank you, listeners, for joining us today. Find and follow Coastal Home Store and look for Jill's Sweet Little Cottage. It's right there on Highway 17 in Hampstead. And thank you again, Jill, for sitting with me today and for sharing your joy in your business.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining me today on Topsail Insider. If you liked today's episode, please hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can get the Topsail Insider podcast delivered automatically to whichever podcast platform you're listening on. And if you're a business owner and you wish to set up a pre-interview or you want to advertise, please email me at topsailinsider@gmail.com. Please also find and like the Topsail Insider Facebook page. I provide links to the new podcast there each week, as well as providing photos of the businesses that I'm highlighting, along with any of their upcoming events. So hey, let's do this again next week. I'll see you around Topsail.